We're gonna say hello in unison, dude?
Yeah, we gotta count it down, though.
Alright.
I need a countdown.
You want me to count up or down? 1, 2, 3. Hello!
Hello!
And welcome to,
Let's try that one more time. Look at the camera, too.
like this.
Yeah.
Welcome to
that's
Ampersand
the-
After Dark.
If that's the personality you want to portray, then yeah.
2, 3. Hello!
Hello!
And welcome to Ampersandbox. We're not so good with introductions. Today, you are watching Tavern Talk, where we discuss as players different events. I am Josh McGee, the DM and story weaver.
I am Jacob Ivy, and I play Josiah Greatbarrel, your friendly neighborhood gunslinger and kind of terrorist, I guess. Yeah.
My name's Alex. I'm Zanog. I am an orc necromancer. I like slinging spells.
Nice.
Long walks on the beach.
Alright, so Xyleia is a forest of a state. It's densely wooded. Zanog came from here. Zanog, what's your intro? What was your character coming from Xyleia?
He was raised in a small, orc village called Godovac. A lot of hunters, gatherers type deal. They would hunt and sell pelts and do all that kind of stuff. No magic, really. They kind of look down on the magic and things like reading.
Oh no.
So it's a bit of a different...
If you don't need it, you don't need it.
Right. And I mean, they're just like stab stuff with a stick, I guess. You know what I mean?
But when you need it, you really need it.
Zanog was different. Zanog was into the magic and into the reading of scrolls that he would pick up from the traders that would come through and stuff like that. So, bit of a black sheep in the society over there.
So, Jacob, Josiah in his travels, being in military, would have stopped by. You know, you've been scouting through Xyleia with 2-year shifts. What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think that looks like for Josiah?
I think it really looks like sticking to major cities for the most part. I mean,
Right.
in my head, there would be some scouting into the actual forest itself and into the dense brush that is Xyleia.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's much of interacting with the tribes that are out there. Or I would say it's kind of like how we interact with people in the Amazon. We know they're there. We see them and watch them. Very voyeuristic, you know what I mean? But we don't talk to them.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that I think they probably would have kept an eye on these little tribes and stuff too to protect them too. I mean, they're tribal people, and to Josiah and to the rest of civilized society, he probably wanted to protect them without them knowing. So maybe keeping an eye out for I don't know, a puma coming after him or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Pretty sure that's a thing on Star Trek.
I'm sorry.
I think that's a Star Trek thing also, where they won't interfere with new.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the puma situation.
Not the space puma. No space pumas.
I don't
know. I'm not a.
Jesus, that's very specific.
No, I'm
Captain
not-
Picard! I accidentally beamed up a puma. It's loose in the tip.
I think I was pretty close.
No, yeah, no, you're right. You're right. They do very much they don't interact with other planets' peoples.
All right, so rather than just some history stuff on your characters, how's it feel being in Xyleia? What do you think of the place so far? And I will let you know you've not been anywhere near the city. You're actually not fully in the walls yet. You're just outside of the
So, yeah, I
outskirts.
feel like we're still operating in the outlands
You're just in the
of
outskirts.
the city-state. You should probably explain for anybody watching that's new here how the city-states kind of operate, right? There's there's a perimeter,
Yeah.
and then there's the outlands for every single one of them.
So yeah. Each of the city-states are 24 miles by 24 miles in a hexagonal shape, and they're heavily secured. And then outside of the walls, there's a 1-mile extension that is protected, and after that, it is just the outlands, where anything goes, no laws, and that's the short of it. Anyways, How you feel about the woods you've been in? I guess just your initial view of being back, or
No, I mean, Zanog. This is Zanog's home, so it's like I've seen that tree 1,000 times before.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I think that Josiah is a little cautious. Just the whole situation we just came from that led us into Xyleia. I think he's definitely got like one ear to the ground, if that makes sense.
if you're not with us, you are against.
I go before Idris does.
This is true.
And I'm going to disengage.
I'm just gonna look at Josiah and be like, Xyleia.
Xyleia. Maybe leaning a little bit more into Zanog as like for survival skills, you know, as far as like navigation goes. Josiah, I like to think of Josiah as a good leader and also like a good fighter, but not a very good navigator.
I want to pick your brains on how you felt about some of the characters in this area. I'll go first with Hali. Haliatis. Haliatis is part of an underground trade society that is not yet named.
And she's got a very infectious accent.
Yeah, there's a good solid 20 minutes. There's a good solid 20
Yeah, you guys
minutes.
trying to not talk like her.
I felt
my God.
I felt so good about that because I had just did the Yoda thing. I was like, man, this is payback.
And we made fun of you pretty hardcore for the Yoda.
Yeah. Jacob, you first since you're on top.
Oh. Yeah, I think that Josiah I think he's friendly towards Hali. I think that he kind of likes her attitude and likes the kind of vibe of her, you know what I mean? And probably reminds him a lot of Rosalind, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe like a little bit more of like a backwoods Rosalind, but still Rosalind nonetheless. And having like another person around that he can joke around about like how, you know, how the underworld of Vimuros works. I think that's kind of fun for him, you know?
Yeah, I definitely get that. Like, even with Rosalind too, it's like these characters you can almost immediately trust. I feel like, whether or not that's safe, but like,
Right.
you just kind of they're just easily
Right.
trustable. Zanog hasn't questioned for 1 second that he's dealing with a bunch of filthy criminals, even though he himself is a filthy criminal. Like you would think everybody in the black market is just out to fucking backstab each other, but they're all like in these friendly-ish networks.
Yeah, it's like a hidden guild.
That is kind of like me and Josh didn't talk a whole bunch about this. Josiah's character background is what brought the black market kind of into this. That's kind of how I viewed it. It's very much like a thieves guild of like, you know, once you're part of the guild, like you don't backstab each other. Like you want to succeed, and when backstabbing happens, it's kind of like a taboo.
I feel like that's gotta change at some point. There's always somebody who gets too greedy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that people like Hali and Rosalind kind of like working around that, you know what I mean? And making like allies, and like the black market guild also trades with the effervescent, you know? I feel like it's become more of like an organization that works almost like its own government, you know?
Right. Shadow government.
That's Hali. Let's touch base about Bavnik.
Oh no. Do we have to?
Bavnik! Bavnik is Zanog's cousin.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Not very proud of it. Yeah, so like here's the thing, like I feel like Zanog in his heart of hearts, like yes, it's just frustrating to like deal with the people from your hometown, right? Like
Of course.
I guess that is like, especially like your dumbass family, like your absolute and I mean dumbass in all caps. Like, but I also, it's his dumbass family, so like, and now that he knows that Godovac is no more and like his parents aren't even around anymore, like what happened to all the other orcs that he knew, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So like suddenly now there's a little bit of a like, he may be a dumbass, but that's my dumbass. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Yeah, I think that Josiah wouldn't be that hard pressed if Bavnik, you know, disappeared.
Right.
I think he's had enough people like Bavnik in his like underneath him, you know, in the military, that he's just like, this guy is going to get someone killed if they do not like get their stuff together. He's the one that you're like, hey, Bavnik, I've got a promotion for you, but first you've got to run out into that field. I promise nothing's gonna explode.
Oh no.
Step on that landmine for me, Corporal.
But I mean, like, I can definitely get behind helping Zanog out, though. I mean, I think Josiah values Zanog as much as they like butt heads against each other. I think it's more of like a trying to understand Zanog, you know, especially as the last couple episodes have gone through. Josiah's trying to understand and like seeing someone that grew up with Zanog or grew up around Zanog, you know, and seeing like the difference between the two. I think is definitely something that goes into how Josiah views Zanog and than seeing like where he came from versus like what he is now, you know.
We also like immediately Bavnik's like, "Haha, you're a loser." You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
right
like,
after,
not even questioning it. He's just like immediately like, "I haven't seen you in how many years, loser." Like,
exactly.
like,
And not but what 5 minutes after Josiah and Sanag had a long conversation about what a nerd is.
the parameters in which you define nerddom are very flawed.
Oh, that's excellent.
I think until Zanog finds out what happened to Godovac and like what happened to his father and all that stuff, he's gonna probably hold on to the breadcrumbs harder.
All right, so the next character I will kind of want to pop in there. This is not Xyleia specific, but the person that got you there, Nomii.
I think Josiah is really interested in the effervescent. Not just for his own gain, but just the idea of like what they do. Like I'm sure that from a meta perspective, Josiah's probably worked with like tertiary groups of them, you know. But I think working with someone who seems to be more involved and you know what I mean, the way that Nomii carries themselves, they feel not like an apprentice or like a grunt or anything. Like they feel like someone who's higher up in the organization. But I think that Josiah wants to know way more about Nomii and about the effervescent, like how they fit into this like cog that is the machine of Vimuros, you know.
Yeah, I guess along the lines, it's like it's another one of those, like it's another underground guild that I feel like you can trust almost immediately. Whether or not that's safe or not is another conversation.
Right.
Also, from Zanog's perspective, because the way I want to play him, the madness that is Zanog, he's just focused on the next step to becoming a greater, more powerful wizard. So, like, the characters that are kind of around him that are just kind of passerbys, like Josiah stayed for a long time, so like it's kind of like a cement in his life in that point, right? The passerbys don't really make any noise to him until they're more solid.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, there's a little blue gnome that teleported us here. Cool, thanks.
Okay, so the next character is not an NPC. The next character is the player character played by our very own James. BECS. The something or other. What's your personal and your characters I'm leaving it. Your characters personal reactions? I give up. You know the question.
Bruh.
What is your personal and your character's reaction to meeting BECS?
Personally, I think the character is hilarious. I love the way that James is playing this character of like very much leaning into like the Irish stereotype, but like putting a spin on it where like it doesn't feel offensive. Like it feels more of like homage to like the dwarves of Ironforge and WoW. You know, like it just feels kind of silly and fun. I also like that this character is very much, like we've talked about off air before, is like it's very much like a foil to me and to Josiah and Sanag, you know what I mean? Like this character fits in perfectly to, you know, push our two characters to be better while also having us push them to, I guess, be worse. You know?
That's true.
Like
there's just enough
There's an argument to be
contrast.
made that like BECS has an incredibly bad drinking problem, so they themselves are not all good. That just could be projecting themselves wanting to be better, but at the end of the day, they owe so much money to so many different people, and the drinking problem on top of that.
I think that's where I think that like that like the little bit we've heard of that so far in character is interesting to Josiah, and I think that like again, like we've at this point I feel like we've explored that Josiah is not a wholly good character. He thinks he's good, but he's not a wholly good character, and I think that Josiah looks at this and goes, there's a character that I can offer to help in some form, or I can also manipulate into getting what I want. Like they have like Alex said, BECS has a drinking problem. Josiah can use that to get what he wants. And if he's helping him along the way, you know, here and there, just keeps the character's relationship going.
James, if you're watching this, click the timestamp and just get out of here. You can't listen to none of this. No.
We'll put a warning up. James, when
a
you
warning
watch...
specifically for one viewer.
How I feel about, like, Alex feels about him is, yeah, like, good. That's an A+ RP character to have in the group, right? Like, personality foil to the rest of us.
Right.
But as Zanog, it's after not only the first two people leaving us, and then Idris also coming and going as quick as they did. Like I said it in that other game, which is not an accident. Like, we're a revolving door at this point. Like, come or go, doesn't matter. Like, I'm still like.
That reminds me of my our first home campaign where there's a bunch of people trying out D&D, not just the setting, but like
Right.
we started off with like 4 people, then it was like 6 different people. And there's only a few mainstays, and I remember like getting through the climax of the thing. It's like finally the heroes, which are, I guess, you guys.
Yeah, and there's like a statue erected of like 6 other guys.
Yeah, these are you, but
But not you.
Who are those guys? They used to be in the group, but now we're the group. So you're gonna have to erect another statue.
So all you DMs and players out there that have this revolving door party situation, tell us how it really affects your campaigns.
Yeah, honestly.
It's a nightmare to write around, not gonna lie.
Yeah, truly. Like, please, just stay one character.
For at least a
Until they
story
die.
arc, yeah, until they die or they have a reason to retire. I am Josh McGee, the DM and Story Weaver of Venture into Vimuros. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, let us know by giving it a thumbs up. If you want to see more like it, subscribe to our channel. And to be notified when new videos come out, tap the bell. Here are some recommended videos, somewhere around here. Oh, and keep the Tavern Talk going down in the comments. Until next time, release your inhibitions. Feel the rain on your skin. That could be Bavnik. Bavnik, release your inhibitions. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you.